what? Because the black people are looked at and despised even when they accomplish things of constructive value. They're still despised. They're looked at and said, yes, you're a wonderful, nice fellow or lady. I mean, and you have correct intentions, and you're a decent person, and I even like you. But I have to mistreat you. Why? Because you're the wrong color. Somehow something got mixed up somewhere and made you the wrong color. And somehow that automatically means that you are eligible for mistreatment. Mistreatment by whom? First of all, by anybody who's classified as white, who decides to mistreat you. And secondly, anybody who is looking just like you. They can mistreat you with our consent. Why? Because it's called white supremacy, and that is the business that we have chosen. So it comes down to what is the general thinking? Because we're talking about state of mind. What's the general thinking of the average black person on the planet Earth? Because we're talking about a worldwide problem. Racism is a worldwide problem. So, that being the major problem, in my opinion, on the planet, how do the people who are the victims of racism look at racism? Well, we look at it as a problem. And do we look at it as a priority problem? And according to all of the evidence that I see, the answer is no. So that means we must have another priority. So let's look for the evidence of what is that other priority based on what you see black people throughout the entire planet doing most of the time. Or, even more importantly, what black people are trying to do as a priority. I mean, as the one thing that's really important to them, more than anything else, collectively. What's the most important thing to black people on this planet as a priority? Truth be told, that's the question. Because all problems are solved through the process of questions and answers. So that's the question. So I have concluded, at least up to now, until somebody tells me something different and get me to look at the evidence, and I will take a different tack. But up until now, through all these decades, I came to the conclusion, based on what I see, black people have a priority, and it's not ending racism. Racism is something that they consider an annoyance whenever they get slapped in the face directly, or get called a name, or get fired off of a job. But the minute they're able to get a job again, or not being called a name, or something that's not happening to them personally, that they have concluded is based on color, then they go right back to their priority. So it comes down to a question. What is the priority of the average black person on the planet in 2017 as of this minute right now, worldwide? And I have concluded the priority is showing off to other black people. That is the priority. And that's why nothing ever gets done that needs doing, like getting rid of racism. And as long as that is the priority, we will not be collectively or even individually, because it's got to be a collective thing, starting with individuals, not having that as a priority, but having ridding the world of racism as the most important thing, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, that we can possibly be engaged in, either directly or indirectly. As long as people of color are just strutting around trying to do just enough to impress a handful of other black people, the other tribe across the hill, or a few tribal members, if you're talking about tribes, or a fraternity, or a sorority, or some kind of little team somewhere, or some type of little niche here and there, just impressing them impressing family members. I got to do just enough to impress my extended family. Let them know that I'm somebody in the family. It doesn't go any further than that. We need to think about that. Does it go any further than that? I mean, one-on-one, throughout the entire world, tribe, fraternity, sorority, this little group here, gangs, my gang, with its colors. That's a priority for my entire life. It doesn't go anywhere beyond that, not 1 inch beyond that, ever, in anything that I do or say. That is my priority. That's my reason for living. I mean, to impress the guys in my gang, all right? Let them know that I'm somebody in my gang, and let that other gang, let them know that I'm somebody in my gang, and that I'm somebody even when it comes to them, because my gang can whip their gang. Gangs, sororities, fraternities, family, that all over the world, people of color, look at their priorities. Whereas the priority of the white supremacy is what? White supremacy. That is a whale of a priority with all kinds of super strength behind it, because it's a whale of an idea. See, everything starts with an idea. So if you got a small ghetto idea, that ghetto idea is just going to stick in a ghetto frame of reference. And it's not going to take in the entire universe, because the white supremacists believe in being supreme over everything of color, avatar, whomever. The green people on the planet Jupiter, if there's any up there, if they are people of color, the white supremacist says, I'm going to dominate them, and I'm going to kick them from pillar to post at my bidding, for fun, for glory, and for material gain. And I've done it so far, and it's the greatest show on earth. And these little Negro projects of just trying to impress your handful of friends for the rest of your life, let them keep doing it and keep them doing it. And they will always, no matter what their numbers, they always brag about how many numbers they have. Well, numbers don't mean a thing when you got a whole bunch of ignorant numbers, and you got 1 or 2 smart people among a whole bunch of ignorance, and those smart people will dominate them every time.